we're going to discuss today is Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Oh yeah, that was great. You brought back all the old characters that we loved, and it's always good to see characters you love in a new setting, such as this film did, set them in San Francisco, which is a beautiful city.
No, that was Star Trek IV. That was Star Trek IV Voyage Home. Khan, Wrath of Khan 2 is about when they meet up with Khan again, and it's
in San Francisco.
No, that you're thinking of the Time Machine
James
one.
Doohan, Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner.
Yes, those people are all in it, but in 2, they don't go back in time. They don't go to San Francisco. They stay in space the whole time.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I guess that's what makes this show fun. Is we do sometimes have different opinions, but. No, I do think that the second one, The Wrath of Khan, is in San Francisco, and it stars Ricardo Montalban.
All right, well, we can double check. We can check that online.
No, because it's interesting that you would see those characters in modern times. In modern times, it's
yeah, and that's what they did in 4. So check out, if you want to see them in modern times, check out Star Trek 4. I'll go through with you. Star Trek 1 is motion picture. 2, Wrath of Khan. 3, Search for Spock. 4, Voyage Home.
Well, you're just
5,
reading off a list. It doesn't really have anything to do with what the films are about. And
well, Voyage Home is about them going back to San Francisco in the past. So we'll check on that.
I think that.
Anyways,
I think that one again, it takes place in outer space.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm positive about it. So thank you very much for checking it out. If you haven't seen 2, go check it out. It's the best Star Trek movie.
Video. Today on my segment, Popcorn Classics, we have Dick Tracy starring Warren Beatty.
Oh, well, I actually have a movie instead that I want to just surprise you with. This is a little surprise on your end. This time I brought in a movie.
All right.
So put Dick Tracy away. Put the dick back in your pants. Can we use that? I don't know if we can get away with that. I brought in Star Trek IV. If anyone listens to the podcast, they'll know that there's been a big disagreement between Greg and I on the plot of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Greg seems to insist that Star Trek II is where they go back to San Francisco.
Yeah,
but what's true is Star Trek IV is the one where they go back to San Francisco. Listen to this. Kirk and his crew must time travel back to 1986.
You're reading off the card or off the box?
No, I'm reading off the box. Kirk and his crew must time travel back to 1986 San Francisco, where they find a world of punk, pizza, and exact change buses that are as alien as anything they've ever encountered in the far reaches of the galaxy. That's the plot of Star Trek IV. Argument over, argument settled. I have been proven correct once again.
Now, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, is where they go to San Francisco. The Voyage Home, they go back into space. That's where their home is. That's the Voyage Home.
No, they're from Earth. That's where they're going back to Earth, the Voyage Home.
I don't think Spock is from Earth. I don't think you've seen anything like that on Earth. And Star Trek IV...
Guys, if you guys know the answer to
this... This is not the artwork from Star Trek IV. This is not the real... There's no hologram. You see, that's how you can tell a pirated video.
This is the original...
If you look at a legitimate video like the Dick Tracy video... Oh, this is a pirated video, too. Oh, no, see? Here's the security seal. There's no security seal.
Well, there is a security seal. It says 1797 right underneath the Paramount
That's called a catalog number, so it doesn't mean anything. Anyway, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, is a great movie. I don't know what's on that tape. It's probably Star Wars 2, because that's a pirate that you probably got in Malaysia or something. That's not something that they would sell at a real store here, because you go to jail for piracy, and you should. And Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty is also a film that we recommend.
Audience, would you call and write to this guy, this nut here, and tell him that Star Trek IV, if you just watch it, is them going back. It says it right in the movie. It says on the credit title sequence says Star Trek IV, and then they go back to San Francisco. It's not that hard to explain.
Well, it's not hard to splice something like Star Trek II, which was the second movie after Star Trek the Motion Picture. They go back to San Francisco.
Star Trek IV is about San Francisco. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next week.
Star Trek II, they go to San Francisco. Star Trek IV, they go home into space where they came from.
Well, you're wrong. I'm right. Thanks, and
He's
enjoy the
not
film.
From San
enjoy
Francisco.
the film. This is given to me by a fan out there. He sent it to me. Thank you very much. This is the novelization of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Okay?
This is a novel by Vonda This will settle the deal. Listen to this. But their trip is interrupted by the appearance of a mysterious, all-powerful intruder. Suddenly, Kirk, Spock, and the rest of the crew must journey back through time to 20th century Earth. Only there can they save the future by rescuing the past. And they have San Francisco right on the book.
It's not an official book.
It is an official book. It's a story by Leonard Nimoy and Harv Bennett. So
Leonard Nimoy's made a whole career of doing things that kind of relate to Star Trek. It doesn't mean it's the official story.
This is the official novelization, a novel based on Paramount Pictures' supreme space adventure, Star Trek
Exactly,
4.
based on this adventure of the whole Star Trek series.
It's the general story. It's where they go back to San Francisco. That's not that hard to explain.
No, because have you seen The Hobbit?
Because
they're making
building.
3 movies of The Hobbit, but it's only 1 book. This book compiles the first 4 Star Trek movies, the plots, and combines them into 1 book, just as The Hobbit book combines the 3 movies.
It says Star Trek 4 right here. Not all the Star Trek movies are in this book, because then it would just be, say, Star Trek, all the movies.
I could buy a book about the history of the Jefferson airplane, and it would mention San Francisco, but that doesn't mean that's the basis of the Star Trek movie.
That's what this is, the voyage home. They go back to Earth and are in San Francisco.
No,
I can't do it anymore. I can't listen to this bullshit from you.
That book is a compilation of the first 4 Star Trek movies into 1 book.
Chief Medical Officer Christine Chappell stood in the midst of the chaos of Starfleet's Command Major Mission Room. Huge curved windows presented by 180-degree views of, let me hear it, San Francisco
Okay, what
Bay.
page is that? What page is that?
59.
Okay, that proves my point. If it's that early in the book, it's because the second movie, when you take put them into 1 book,
No,
Star Trek II, the San Francisco movie, is going to be pretty early in the book. It's going to be somewhere around page 59.
This is Star Trek 4. It's all this book is.
No, they're telling you that all 4 movies are in 1 book. Star Trek 4, the 4 original movies. It's an interesting book. It's not as full of detail as the 4 movies are. You can't compress 4 movies into a book and have it really cover as much ground. So I would say the book, I give 2 bags of popcorn. But Star Trek II, which is set in San Francisco, I give 5 bags of popcorn. It's a popcorn classic.
Do you know if Star Trek, the second movie, was the one set in San Francisco, or was it the 4th? Star Trek the movies? Yeah.
She doesn't watch the movies?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen them?
No.
But the one where they go back to San Francisco
of course.
is the second one.
Well, I don't know.
Don't listen to him. He's out of his mind. He's had too much champagne.
See, that is. Well, you know,
Charlie?
I'll call you when I get home and find out, okay?
He's ruining the whole interview. We had this argument whether or not Star Trek 2 was set in San Francisco. It wasn't. It was Star Trek 4. Anyways, that's not why you're
That's
here.
the old thing, yeah.
Yeah. That old sort of argument.
All right. Stump the Buff is a quiz contestant show starring our buff, Greg Turkington. And we're going to challenge him. And if he can get 3 questions right out of these 5, Greg can win $1,000.
Should be a bonus if you get all 5.
I'll give you $2,000 if you get all 5.
Okay.
Out of my own pocket. My checking account can handle $7,000 today.
Okay.
And we're going to show you a still from a movie. All you have to do is tell me what movie it's from.
Where's the still?
Okay, you'll see it's right there. Okay, ready? First movie? Name that movie.
Casablanca. Or, Gone with the Wind. Sorry. Gone with the Wind is my final answer.
Well, you said Casablanca.
I was just excited because we were just starting. And
Okay, well, 1 wrong. Unfortunately, that disqualifies you from the $2,000. You had to have
But I
gotten them
didn't
all
say
right.
final answer.
Doesn't matter.
But if I cleared my throat...
We're not on Millionaire. This is the way we play Stump the Buff. First word out of your mouth, that's your answer. So no right answers yet. Let's throw up the next still.
Godfather. The Godfather.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer, The Godfather.
Okay. It's actually from The Godfather 2.
I don't think so. It looks like The Godfather.
I can see how you would make that mistake. That's
Robert
from Godfather
Duvall.
2. Is it from The Godfather 2? Yeah. Okay, we've
And,
just confirmed that from our judges. All right, let's go to number 3. We are 0 for 2. You can still come back. You got to get the next 3 right, and then you got the $1,000. Let's show a still from this fall. What movie is this from?
Guarding Tess.
That is correct. Guarding Tess with Nicolas Cage and Shirley MacLaine.
Great. Okay. Now we're on a roll.
Now we got 1. You got to get the next 2 right, and you will cruise to victory. Let's put the still up.
Just the Way You Are.
That is correct. Just the Way You Are.
Yeah. Well, I saw it recently. I actually had just seen Gone with the Wind recently for the
Okay,
fifth time.
doesn't matter.
And I thought that...
You have 2 right. If
Well-
you get this next, this is amazing. If you get the next one right here, you win the $1,000. If you get it wrong, you get nothing. Let's put it up on the screen.
Star Trek 2.
Incorrect. That's Star Trek 4. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, starring William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelly.
That's obviously a still from Star Trek 2.
Oh my God, Greg!
Because you could
I
see
fired
that
you
they're-
from the show last season because of this. Are you seriously going
And
to
you
tell
brought me back because you were wrong.
No.
You made a mistake. Because
Okay,
that's Star
look it
Trek
up.
2.
That's it.
Well, I have looked it
We're
up.
done.
I've seen
Thank
the
you.
movie so many times. It's Star Trek 2.
Thanks for watching.
It's shot in San Francisco. This is stupid.
You could have won $1,000 if you just get off your.
Well, no, I should get $7,000 or whatever it was that you were offering because I got the first one right, and that's Star Trek 2. Look it up. Go to Internet Movie Database. Go to Wikipedia or something. That's Star Trek 2.
This week, let's just say I've gone to San Francisco to settle an argument.
Can you show the thing?
Hollywood, California. Every street has a story. And these are but just a few on cinema, on location. Hey guys, we're here at the site of San Francisco's famous Star Trek II filming location. If you've ever seen Star Trek II, you will see Spock and Captain Kirk standing right here in Star Trek II in front of this backdrop. And we have come here to prove once and for all that the film Star Trek II was shot right here in San Francisco. Here's your photographic proof, Tim Heidecker.
Well, it's been good to be here and to settle this argument once and for all.
Okay, you're
So-
right. You're right.
I know.
Okay, and thank you very much for being
Yeah,
a part
no,
of
I'm
this.
glad that we settled the argument because a
Thank
lot of
you.
people
Hold
have
on.
been confused
Let
in
me-
renting the
shut
wrong
up,
Star
shut
Trek.
up. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Court is in session. Please be seated. Good morning, counsel. Good morning, spectators. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This is the People's State of California versus Timothy Richard Heidecker, case number 02CF025. Mr. Heidecker.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning. Good morning, jury. I would like to call my first witness for the defense for the day is acclaimed cinema screenwriter and film director Nicholas Meyer.
Sir, would you please be sworn in?
Do you swear, under the penalty of perjury, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning, Mr. Meyer. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine so far.
Any relation to Oscar?
I was once nominated for an Oscar
There
for
you
the
go.
screenplay I wrote for the 7% Solution.
Okay, well there we go. We have let's sort of a celebrity-filled occasion today. It's very exciting. Congratulations to you on the nomination. Just for the record, may you state your full name and spell your last name, please.
Nicholas Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. And Mr. Meyer, can you give the court and the jury here a little background? I know you've already mentioned the nomination of the Oscar, which is very exciting, but give us a little more background on your career.
I've written, directed a bunch of movies over the years, including some of the Star Trek films, The Day After, my anti-nuclear film.
Okay, I think that gives us a pretty good background. You mentioned Star Trek, which the television show, or the movies, or
I co-wrote and directed Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I co-wrote and directed Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And I co-wrote but did not direct Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, which was directed by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay. I'd like to speak briefly about Star Trek IV, the subtitle of which you just said was...
I didn't.
I'm sorry. The title of Star Trek IV...
The Voyage Home.
The Voyage Home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as a screenwriter, you're pretty familiar with the story of that
yes,
movie?
I'm pretty familiar with the story.
Yeah, I would hope so. When you say home in that title, what does home refer to?
Earth.
Okay, Earth. So the Star Trek gang is out in space, and their voyage in that episode, in that movie, is to Earth.
Yes.
Okay. And specifically, though, is there a location in that film where...
San Francisco. They go to San Francisco.
So, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Because we had an outburst here. Where does the main plot of Star Trek IV take place?
The crew of the Enterprise returns to Earth seeking the help of humpback whales to answer a probe from outer space with a matching signal.
In Star Trek 2.
Mr. Tarkington, one warning and one warning only. One more outburst, and you will be dismissed from this courtroom.
Just trying to be accurate.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I don't see the relevance of Mr. Meyers' testimony as to the Star Trek movies.
The relevance is you brought this fraud here, Greg Turkington, as an expert witness, when his basic understanding of movies is there is none. He doesn't seem to understand very fundamental aspects of film. May I ask you again, Mr. Meyer, where does the plot of Star Trek IV take place? What city?
San Francisco.
Thank you. In Star Trek II, you also directed and wrote Star Trek II.
Yes.
Does any of that movie take place in San Francisco?
Yes, there are actually a couple of scenes that are set in San Francisco. They weren't filmed there, but the Starfleet Academy, the simulator room, those were intended to be San Francisco, and Kirk's apartment overlooks San Francisco Bay. It's a set.
Hold on.
That's what I've been saying.
No.
Mr. Torkington.
San Francisco.
Can we, I don't know, it's a kangaroo court.
Would you please assist Mr. Torkington in finding the hallway?
Set in San Francisco, Star Trek II.
Star Trek II is not set in San Francisco.
He directed it. And
Can you clarify your answer? Because you're being very vague, sir.
I'm being vague?
San
No.
Francisco, Star Trek II.
Star Trek II, you would not classify the plot of Star Trek II as being set in San Francisco.
No, what I said were that there were a couple of scenes in the movie that were set but not filmed in San Francisco.
If you were asked, a man on the street, which Star Trek movie takes place in San Francisco, your answer would be?
Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Meyer, when did you first meet the defendant, Tim Heidecker?
I met him this morning, but I got a call from him around 10:30 last night.
So you just met him today?
Correct.
And what did he say when he called you last night?
He asked me to appear here today as an expert witness.
And did he offer to pay you?
He did.
What did he offer to pay you?
$10,000.
I have no further questions.
I have a right to call expert witnesses and pay them whatever I want. Thank you very much, Mr. Meyer. This is unbelievably generous of you to come down here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. You are dismissed.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
Your Honor, I move that the entire testimony of Mr. Meyers be stricken by the record was totally irrelevant. We call Mr. Turkington to the stand for purposes other than his views on the Star Trek movies.
Well, I request that the jury throw out all the testimony of Greg Turkington, because obviously he's a liar and a rat and completely unqualified to discuss anything, especially movies.
Motion is overruled. The testimony will stand. No further argument is necessary on this point.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.